It's 8:39 on the Big 550 KTRS. Ladies and gentlemen, she sits on the editorial board of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, helps shape the story every single day, and she's our friend, Deb Peterson. Good morning, Deb Peterson.
Good morning, McGraw. I think you sit on the board of the editorial page of the St. Louis Post.
Why do you say that? Was a little snarky. Why do you say that for?
You know, you just seem to become the opinion maker. I mean, I'm sort of saying that with my tongue might cheek for a little admiration. I think you are up to date on the issues, and no matter how wrong you are, you express it with a great deal of enthusiasm.
Well, basically, what you're saying is, I make a really good argument, and even though you can't refute my argument, you're making it.
Stop. No, your arguments can definitely be refuted. I said you do them enthusiastically. That doesn't mean you have the data to back yourself up. But
Data Schmeda. I'll go through your back door and your data mining and find whatever data I need.
Such as your support for Freeman Bosley Sr.
Yes.
What a joke.
I don't understand. He's raising money for his child. Now, what number child, we don't know, but he's raising money for his child. The other ones are raising money for themselves.
Is that so his cause is more virtuous, so that makes it okay to use the influence that he has to try to help his daughter?
Yes.
But it's not, I mean, it's not his, okay, well, that is not his
I would love for anybody to find a picture of Tim Jones actually paying for his own meal, okay? You can give $1 million. You can give $1 million to Speaker of the House Tim Jones so that he can become the new Attorney General of the state of Missouri, right? You have a bill sitting.
Wait a minute. I did not say that was any better. I just think that, Alderman Bosley was a little clumsier. Tim Jones is a little more sophisticated because he's working in a bigger venue.
But Tim Jones, my point is this, is that Tim Jones is raising money to benefit his own career and ultimately lining his own pockets because the information that he gleans and the processes that he learns, he'll then use to become a lobbyist to make even more money. So he's asking people to better his career by flat out giving him money. Freeman Bosley Sr. saying, give my daughter money so that she can go to college.
But that's wrong on so many levels. If my child can't go to a school that I can't afford, my child has to go to another school. Why do we pay for Alderman Bosley's daughter to go to the school of her choice because he doesn't want her to go to a public school like other kids? I don't think and he's lining his pockets by taking my money or whoever's money and not having to pay for her to go to school. So therefore he has more money in his pockets. It's the same. None of them are right about this. And my favorite is this Doug Funderburk, Republican from St. Peter's, who has his own Missouri Ethics Commission. He's accused all the leadership of the House of being corrupt, and then he himself, he's gotten Blues hockey tickets paid for him. He's gotten food. He's gotten whatever, the Maristar Casino event. Somebody else paid for him there, I believe. This guy is. Oh yeah, he had $300 and nearly $30 worth of meals paid for by lobbyists, and because he only gets $104 a day of a legislative per diem. These guys it's unbelievable. Well, I mean, it really gets to the point where you're thinking there is just no moral barometer.
But here's what's interesting. And you mentioned Mr. Funderbrink, who stood up on the floor of the House and said, this House is corrupt and my party is corrupt.
And please send your corruption my way.
Okay. But however, and you referenced the Ameren lobbyists that took him, his son, and his wife and his sons to a Blues hockey game.
For $733.64.
I mean, that is a lot of jack.
That would have been at least a couple of hours of credit for Freeman Bosley's daughter.
But nobody is outraged over that.
Well, I'm outraged. You're outraged. I mean, yes, it isn't as blatant.
Imagine
maybe.
if Freeman Bosley Sr. sent out a letter saying, "Look, I'd like to go to the Cardinal game Tuesday night. Does somebody give me tickets, and I want to take my son and my daughter." Anybody got $700 lying around?
Yeah, you're right. It's not any worse, or I don't think it's better. Is I guess my point. But I certainly don't think it's worse. I think it's equally sleazy. They're all, equal opportunist guys with their hands out, and it does speak I believe Missouri has one of the lowest ethics standards of any state in the country. So the same, guys who are trying to tell you that they're working on your behalf for a tax cut, which isn't going to help anybody unless you're making way more money than, almost you're running a business and making more money than most of us. They're the same guys who can't, who won't pass ethics that actually means something.
Well, I love the fact they're too busy going to all these basketball games and hockey games and baseball games and hobnobbing with the goober-stubers and all of the lobbyists. They couldn't find the tax increase on seniors' prescription drugs while they were passing legislation that was cutting taxes.
And they're going to lose us $11 billion because they don't want to be associated with the name of President Barack Obama. I mean, these are phony, ginned-up issues that these guys are seizing on, and they're manipulating voters who don't look beyond the superficial on these things. And let's consider this. Funderburk from St. Peter's is, one of the chief people out there yelling all the time about how St. Louis has taken too much of the state's revenue and, crime, blah, blah, blah. But where does he go for his sporting events paid for by Ameren and lobbyists? Oh, it seems he has to come into St. Louis, doesn't he? But is he making a contribution to the community? No. I'm tired of it.
But
you got me worked up here,
I did get you worked up. But the point is, well, let me ask you this question. And the other thing, too, is with these guys, okay, I don't buy the argument that we can go to the baseball games on these tickets and we can go to these things because, well, that's where they can talk to me and I can talk to them, and I'm just making myself available to my constituents, people. But the kids, the wives, really, you really need to bring your kids to a hockey game to do work?
And I don't buy for 1 minute that they have to go there to do work. They get an office, use your office. That's ridiculous. When somebody offers you something, oh, wait, you're in radio. When somebody offers me something that my inner, oh, maybe that's not a good idea goes off, I say, no, thank you.
Right.
It's like, I can't do that.
Right.
What happens to these guys that something doesn't say, I work for those taxpayers, I work for the public, I work for people who work for a living. I shouldn't be doing that. But we, as a nation, we have gone cuckoo on this, and we're all wrong about it. And if we keep putting people like this back in office, they keep doing the same thing. And if nobody, if there are no reformers, I don't know what we're going to do.
My point to close the circle on this is that if Freeman Bosley Sr. wrote a note saying, I'd like to take my sons and my daughters and my wife to the ball game, I need $1,000. That's okay. No, that ends up on the editorial page being offensive. But because he asks for his daughter to go to college for money, all of a sudden people are offended by this. And with all that being said, I think John Deal yesterday in the boardroom had the best line of all.
What was it?
He said,
I did watch, by the way, but I must have missed John's line.
John Deal, the majority leader in the House of Representatives, said, why doesn't Freeman Bosley Sr. ask his son Freeman Bosley Jr., who just built the History Museum out of $800,000 for some money?
I think that money was spent long ago. That that actually happened several years ago.
Okay.
I think he spent Bob Archibald's money.
Right.
So you have like father, like son in some ways. So apparently saw nothing wrong. His son saw nothing wrong with being paid 4 times the amount his property was worth because he had somebody willing to do that. Again, my money, your money, tax money.
When it's offenses, I find it more offensive that these guys can't pay for their own lunches and can't pay for their own blues tickets. Yet Bosley's, vilified for trying to raise money for his daughter. So with that being said,
would you write your family members even to say, please help send my kid to school? People don't do that. I don't ask them to send me to the ball games either. But, isn't there some understanding that we try to live within our means?
I tried to raise money so that Tim Jones could go to a ball game, and he threatened to sue me.
If you'd only been McGraw, Milhaven, Ameren lobbyist,
exactly. Yeah,
he would have been happy to let you.
And remember, Tim Jones is the same one who said, "Don't yell at me, yell at the lobbyist. He didn't tell me how to vote."
And, the lobbyists who quietly sit back and do all of this, and because we don't elect them, we don't even know most of the time who they are, they can get away with everything. They are the secret layer of government that nobody talks about, and they control all these legislators who theoretically are the people we vote for. We're really voting for lobbyists. And it's whoever listens to them the most, and it's pitiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Deb Peterson. She sits on the editorial board. I'm a McGraw Milhaven. I just think I sit on the editorial board. Deb, have a good weekend. Thanks.
You too, McGraw. Thank you.
All right, 8:50. We'll talk a little sports next with Michael Kelly on the Big 550 KT.